Sway in the morning, Shade 45. Sometimes, Heather, you make connections with folks that'll become divine. They have no idea when they're in your presence how they impact you.
Very true.
But even more importantly, when they're not in your presence, how they impact you. And from the first time she's come to our show, this spiritual teacher, this author, this life coach, this all-around well-balanced individual who's very honest and transparent, she always leaves her mist in the room.
I'm glad you didn't say funk.
No, it's always mist in the room. Yes. And we try to make it sustain as long as we can before she can come back with another anointment.
Right. Bottle it up.
I want to welcome her back to the show, our family member. And I want a big round of applause to the one and only Iyanla Vanzant. Yay! We here to celebrate Fix My Life. Saturdays at 9 p.m. on OWN Network. I have to say, last time you were here, you put some claims out there. And I said, well, let me see what this is really about. We're going to follow up because I was expressing how big of a fan my sister is. Not a follower, a believer, a supporter that she is of yours. And when you came to the Bay Area, we told her, Kelly Kincaid, and we told her that, hey, we're going to get you a pair of tickets. She said it's okay, and she did not believe me. And and sure enough, your people were really kind with us and very gracious. And I just want to have a chance to put my sister on the phone so she could thank you. Wow. This is my older sister. We call her G Life.
G Life.
All right, G Life, you there?
Oh, my God. God bless you.
Thank you, my love.
Oh, my God. Greetings, Queen Mother Iyanla.
Greetings. I was waiting for you backstage, but you left.
You know what? I had some people that was with me, but I had a strong urge to get home and do some homework, which is such my nerdy side, which I was like thinking, are you tripping? And I was like, no, I need to address some things that she put to us this evening. We did not come for a show.
I know.
What was the show like, G?
I told you it wasn't a show, it was an experience. When that lady stepped out in her grand damned, custom-tailored divine regalia, we just knew it was some serious business. It was not for play. And there was a lot of engagement with hugs, meditations, food for thought, workouts, breathing, a lot of laughter, and a lot of just joy in answering very hard and tough questions. And so, I don't know, the room was extremely intimate for a live theater. It was wonderful. It was just life-altering. And Stockton was turned up, if you can believe that.
Stockton was turned up. That's the Bay Area. They're Warriors fans out there. Hey, G Life, I'm gonna let you, if you have one question for Miss Van Zandt, what would it be?
I think the most question that is I have been very I'm interested in is how is it that you bridge your spiritual modalities with like your degree work and then your personal wisdom experience, especially being an adorned priestess in the Yoruba tradition. How is it that you bridge that inside of your work when you are approaching working with clients and or in your audiences?
Yeah. Well, you know, the good news is I grew up kind of bridged, you know, because my grandmother's Chisleki is Cherokee, so I first went to the reservation when I was 6, and then my matriarchal side, those are the Yorubas, so I grew up understanding and recognizing about ancestral study and cultural nuances and stuff. And my grandmother, the same Cherokee, was in the Kojic Church.
Wow.
Yes.
So we were Kojic all day, and then we was at the moon at night, you know. I mean, so it was good and not so good because, I mean, what that taught me was really to hide who I am, and that who I am is not really acceptable. You know, we didn't talk about putting plates down for the ancestors and doing all of, or you know, honoring the earth and what we do, full moon ceremonies. But as I grew up and I embraced my matriarchal lineage as a Yoruba, or my
Okay.
patriarchal lineage as well in Chisleki, but we really work in the Lakota tradition. And I became a pipe carrier for them, and an initiated priest and an ordained minister, because the thing that I found is the commonality of universal law. And I
Okay.
live universal law and principle. The law of
Indeed.
cause and effect, whether I'm Jisleki or Lakota or Yoruba or Kojik, the law of cause of effect and effect is going to work. Principles, integrity, responsibility, accountability, compassion, honesty, those principles work. Now, the benefit that I have is that I understand how they're taught from a cultural perspective. Whereas the Bible will say, thou shalt not lie. The Yoruba will say, the king does not lie. Or he who knows the truth has a responsibility to speak the truth. And the Lakota would say basically the same thing. If you walk in truth, you live in truth, then you bring the spirit of truth to the planet. It's the same thing. Thou shalt not lie.
Yeah. Universal law.
But I have it from a cultural perspective. So that's really what it is for me. And I think for many people, the thing that's missing is the culture. So I teach it from the universal perspective, but speak to it the way that I've lived it from the cultural perspective.
Wow, what an answer.
G, did you just pass out? G, did you just faint?
G life.
G life.
Like,
All right.
to just bless the commission, give thanks, with love and gratitude for this moment. I'm honoring it and all of the invocations that you poured into us, to give us more life. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for noticing.
Hey, G.
Yes.
Yeah, dinner on you when I come back to the Bay, okay?
It's Sunday. However you want it cooked, whatever you want on your menu is done.
Okay, thank you, sis. Love ya.
But can I
Love
tell you?
you too.
Can I tell you a funny story?
Yeah.
When they gave me the schedule for the tour, and I saw Stockton, I'd never heard of Stockton. I'm thinking in my brain, straight out of Compton.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So I thought I was going to Compton, and I was so excited. But I said to my manager, "Well, why are they calling it Compton and not L.A.?" He said, "Well, Stockton isn't in L.A." I said, Where is it?
That's Northern Cali.
Northern Cali.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of, but I'm so glad I went to meet the country's youngest mayor, 28 years old.
Yes,
His
we had
brother
him here.
is,
Yeah, he's been on the
and
show. Yeah.
really doing some good stuff out there. And then the Stockton family, they was turned up.
Oh, that's
so we had a good time.
It's amazing out there. That's Northern California. That's Warriors territory, Heather B.
Yeah.
Please.
And Michael Tubbs is who he's talking about. Shout
Yeah,
out
Michael
to him.
Tubbs.
He's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yep. G, have a beautiful day, sis.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bless you, crew. Sway's University well.
Thank you.
All right. You got, man, I just scored so many points right there. Let's talk about season 9.
Yeah.
Season 9 is off the hook,
Yeah.
huh?
Well, we go back to, unfinished business with the Mitchell family. When they were first on, they were, really touched the heartstrings of the fan base. And they're back because they hit the wall and they need to do more work.
Can you break down, profile, who are the Mitchell family and why did they need to come back?
The Mitchell families first came to me. These were 5 brothers and 1 sister who were born to drug-addicted parents. And the 5 brothers collectively grew up in a total of 85 different foster homes. And they were separated, except for 2 of them. The 2 youngest was separated from the 5 oldest. Actually, it was 7 boys and 1 girl, because 1 is incarcerated and 1 is deceased. I got the 5, and the 2 youngest met the 3 oldest in a group home. They didn't even know that they were brothers because they had been separated. And so when they came to me, it was because they had wanted to, first of all, heal from the trauma of their growing up and then clear up some things with their parents. So initially I had the 5 brothers, the 1 sister, the father, and the mother.
Okay.
And they left out, if people saw that initial show, they were shiny and they had some tools. But when they got out in the world to use the tools and to face the life, they hit a wall and they just needed to come back.
They needed to come back.
And we all have unfinished business. We all do, So they came back to really clean up some stuff with the mom, not so much with the dad. And the sister, because initially I didn't work with the sister. I only work with the 5 boys.
The sister is Kizzy? Is that
Kizzy, Miss Kizzy.
Miss Kizzy, yeah.
Yeah. So she came back this time and she was in breakdown with the brothers and oh my Lord, it was just wonderfulness.
Yeah, it was great.
Wow.
Yeah, her name is Kizzy. Yeah,
Okay.
like Roots.
Yeah.
I know Miss Kizzy. I want to ask you because I want to go back a little bit with you. I shared with you one time. You came into a place where I was bartending, Melba's in Harlem.
Oh, yeah.
And I stared at you like I saw a ghost because I had just dreamt about you the night before. I'd never met you, and you came to me in a dream and told me to write. And I was like, why is this Oprah lady like telling me to write? It was so weird. You came in, beautiful experience. Fast forward like 5 years later, I meet you here. And you poured so much into us every time you come here. And I was just curious as to when you have visions or dreams or whatever it might be, how patient are you with yourself in terms of things like that and watching them manifest?
But it's not patient with myself. It's patient. It's knowing, which is exactly what I'm talking about out here on tour. This is what I talk with your sister.
Oh, okay.
It's about faith. And a faith for me is the inner knowing that dares your soul to go beyond what your eyes can see. So sometimes I will get a hit or a sense or an inkling or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And I just know. And then when I'm not sure or when I'm not clear about it, I know enough to trust. So it all depends. Like I've seen some things, about the world that are coming. And I'm like, And you also have to know what to say and what not to say.
When you speak about faith, my sister brought up that we actually had a full-fledged conversation about the experience she had, and she said you spoke on faith killers.
Yes.
Can you give us an example of what
Worry.
our faith? Okay.
Worry is a faith killer.
Uh-huh.
Because it says to you that you're not trusting. Worry is really a sign of control.
That's
People
true.
think they're worry warts, but they're really control freaks. They want it to come the way they want it to come.
Damn.
Worry is.
Wait, hold on. We gotta let that breathe for a second, man. That
a
hit
gem
home
on
right there. I was like, wait a minute.
It's you, like she's
That might
talking to
be me,
you.
'cause I was like, I be worried a lot. It's a damn. Okay. I'm accepting.
And when we can't control, we go into worry, which really is how we rehearse the worst thing possibly happening. That's what worry is.
Right.
It's like, oh, that's not going to happen, and then this is going to happen, and I'm have to, So worry, it's really a control freak issue.
Okay. Impatience.
Is another faith killer. Impatience, It takes 9 months to have a baby, and so it may happen in 8.5 months. It may take 9 months and 2 weeks, but you can't have a baby when you're only 3 months pregnant. You just can't have it. It's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
So impatience is another trust issue where we're saying, we can't see it, so we don't know what's happening, what's going on. And impatience is the abortionist. Because impatience will lead you to do things that will abort the dream, abort the vision, abort whatever it is. Because if you cut the womb open while the baby's developing, you're going to abort. So impatience is the abortionist of good things.
You mentioning the wound and the baby developing, my sister, these are the things that stuck out in my head that she talked about. And I wasn't even there.
Yeah,
I'm just
really
going off the
good
top.
notes.
All right. Okay. So she mentioned that you had a message for newlyweds.
Oh, yeah.
And for people to watch their mouths.
Yes.
What's the reasoning behind that?
Well, two things I said, and I don't want. Okay, so this means when I come to Brooklyn and Jersey, I'm gonna have to say something different, but that's okay.
You got it. You're talking to the world right now. Okay.
Yeah, but it's also different hearing it up front.
Okay.
I said to them, women, particularly women, we don't understand that any male child develops in a woman's womb. And the first thing he hears, before his eyes or fingers or toes are formed, once the heart starts beating and he has the capacity to hear, the first thing he hears is a woman's heartbeat, his mother's heartbeat. And so a woman's heartbeat has a very powerful impression on a male. The next thing he hears is his mother's voice. And so a woman's voice is connected to a man's heartbeat, even though it's not his mother. So when we as women are careless and negligent with our speaking, we don't understand how we cut through into a man, his being, his DNA, his fibers, his heart, And I think a lot of times that's why young boys, when they have the mothers who aren't conscious in their speaking, they learn how to zone out to protect themselves from the violence of a woman's mouth.
Let that breathe for a second.
Amen.
We're going to take your phone calls, 888-742-3345.
Iyanla, I'm curious about how you figure out your pacing when it comes to work. Because, as a millennial, and for a lot of people, it feels like the focus is always on output, especially because the internet doesn't have office hours. You know what I mean? Instagram is accessible at all times. And I also wonder for women who are entrepreneurs or who are climbing the ladder corporately, we're still kind of just really in my opinion, going off masculine energy because that has been the structure.
Yes.
And we've always looked at the way that feminine energy moves, just like the moon, and it goes and zigs and zags as something that's weak. So how have you found a way to align yourself with the seasons of your life instead of acting as if every single day is output, output, output?
Impregnate yourself with the vision and the intention first. I made that mistake. I got all caught up in, I got to do 30 cities, and we got to do the marketing, and we got to do this, and like out on the West Coast, the tickets weren't selling and everything, and I was like in freak out mode, and I thought it was because Phoenix had a lot of white people. They didn't want to come see me, so I was writing a good speech for the white people to come here, as if the white people knew I was writing a speech, and they didn't know. And then, I got convicted in my spirit, and I hadn't sat down. I hadn't created the vision. I hadn't created the intention. I was focused on selling tickets and not delivering the message. So I had to correct myself. So I would say to all young women, whoever you are, because giving life, bringing forth life, whether you have children or not is not the issue. The issue is that we bring forth lives. So before you do anything, sit down and get the vision. Impregnate yourself with the vision. And then impregnate yourself with the intention. I'm not on tour at my age because I need to make money or sell tickets. I'm on tour at my old ass age because and I didn't realize how old I was till I got to city number 3, and I was like, okay, wait a minute.
I'm dying.
Oh my God. In 99, I did 26 cities like this, but that was a while ago.
Yeah.
I'm on tour to speak into people's souls, not through the TV screen. I have a message that I have received from the ancestors and the Holy Spirit, and to speak it into their soul, to impregnate souls about why we need to live by faith, not by sight, not by degree, not by income. We need to live by faith now, because as long as we're filled up with faith, we will call in different things, because look what we've called in here now, right now.
Right now. A big round of applause for that one, Iyanla Vanzant. Tasha's on the line from San Francisco.
Tasha.
Yeah.
We only have so much time, Tasha. I don't want to rush you, but I definitely appreciate your call. You have a question?
Guys.
Hey, what up?
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Tasha, y'all. She's from the land of the Warriors.
Good morning, Iyanla.
Good morning.
Hey, yes, I am. Iyanla, I just saw you at the Paramount in Oakland.
Yes.
And I was so excited. It was such a wonderful experience. But my question is, I am reliving a child sexual abuse that happened at like 8, 9. I never told nobody. And now I'm almost 50, and I'm like reliving it every day. I'm like smelling the scent of him and everything. It's driving me crazy.
It's up
I
to
just
be
wanna know,
healed.
like,
It's up to be healed. It's up to be healed. So I'm going to tell you the psychological thing, then I'm going to give you the wise woman juju. Okay. First of all, write it out. It's just spilling forth from your mind. So write it out, write it out, write it out. Whatever it is, what you're remembering, the smell, the scent, what he did, what he said, write all of that down. And then once you get it down on paper, burn it, tear it up, flush it, bury it, but you got to get it out. All right? So you're taking it from the energetic sense and making it concrete. That's what the writing is. And then you got to start cleaning that energy off you. And this is the same thing I just said to who was I just talking to? I was just talking to somebody. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, clean it off. There's a couple of things you can do. There's a series of Epsom salts baths, because as you write, sit in the tub of Epsom salt and it'll strip that energy. That'll break that energy down. That's sodium hydroxide. The other thing is you can take lemons, and after you write it out, scrub your body down with lemons to cut the energy. Because you can't just cut the memory, you got to cut the energy. Or you can go to my website, masterpiecebodytherapy.com, and get some Quita Maldición.
Oh. There it is.
Okay.
Tasha.
Okay, thank you.
And then keep in tune with us, okay, Tasha? Okay.
Yeah, I got it's called a curse remover.
Thank
Quita
you.
Maldición.
And good luck. Mm-hmm. Good luck. I want to play this one clip from this season, because I love hearing you and your truth. And even I would imagine it requires a lot of patience to deal with a lot of the patients that come on your show. And here's a clip that we get to hear you in rare and raw form.
That's what I said.
I love my sister.
Don't put me on Front Street like that, and
Because
you can't back your own
you don't like her. You don't.
Now I see why you're behaving the way you do.
You don't.
There you go on your bullshit.
Like it.
Talk
She don't
about
like it.
me
She
like
don't like
a
you.
damn
I'm keeping it
dog.
real. My mama died.
Shut up! Shut up! All of you, shut up! I'm sick and tired of it. Done with it.
What was?
But see, you saw 3 minutes. It had gone on for at least 20.
Okay.
And they were the two brothers were Marcus and Melvin, and then the mother and the son. And I'm going on, and then I'm talking to Kizzy, and she's talking and walking away, and I'm tapping her on her shoulder. I was just done, because that's what they do.
Yeah.
And then they came to get healing, and they're doing it again, and I'm like, I'm not doing this with y'all. I'm not. And now the piece y'all didn't see was I went there with them, and then I sat down and I said, I just wanted y'all to see what it looked like. Just as calm. They cut that out. But, because they also want me to look as crazy as possible. So, yeah, but sometimes you have to meet people where they are to get them to where you want them to be. I had to meet them there. And then, because they shut up, didn't they?
They shut up. I shut up watching it. I was like, ooh, damn, I thought you were talking to me. Iyanla Vanzant, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you. Thank you for taking care of my family, too.
Thank you.
I really appreciate that.
Anytime.
You need we're allies. You need anything on this end, we got you.
Well, just make sure Brooklyn, Jersey, Philly, y'all come out to see me. Go to IyanlaVanzantLive.com and get your dates and your tickets.
There it is.